Hit it. Oh, how you feel, brother? Feeling good. You feel good? Feeling good. Ain't so much bone, brother. How you feel, man? I feel all right. Now I call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, Jam! Sure getting down. We gotta take you higher. Ow! All right. You wanna do it again? You wanna do it again, huh? Yeah, let's go on back. We gotta take you higher.
Hi, this is Sherita J, and I'm coming to you from breezy Chicago, Illinois. I'm really excited to be here, and I'm here with my special guest, Crystal Porter, and we're going to be talking to you today about STEM projects and more, different ways for you to work with STEM. And what is STEM? That's science, technology, engineering, and math. And so I'm going to be teaching a 2-day conference at Chicago State University tomorrow and Friday from 9 to 4. And I'm just so excited about that. And Crystal, I want to thank you for inviting me and bringing me to this wonderful city.
It's such a pleasure to have you here. I've been trying to get you here for a long time because I've heard everything that you've done, and I know that you'll be able to help a lot of the staff, the faculty, students, and anyone who is even non-STEM so that they can collaborate with, STEM projects.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about that today, but then also Crystal has a couple of passions of her own, and we're going to talk about that. And in addition, we're going to be showing you grants that are available for STEM projects, for engineering, math, and the kind of funding that you can go after to work with those projects. So what do I mean? Suppose you have an after-school program, but you're not focused on STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. But you have young people that are, let's say that you're doing a tutoring program, and they don't know that they're interested in math, in STEM, because no one has talked to them about STEM. They're wondering, what is that? But you're teaching math, and you probably have a science class. Well, those individuals could have the opportunity to go into STEM careers and that kind of thing. So this is why there's opportunities to collaborate with individuals that are focused on STEM, and you can have a collaboration with your after school program. So there's so many ways to work together. So we're going to talk about a whole lot of good stuff. Now, I just want to jump right in because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about today. How long have you been with Chicago State?
Actually, about a year and a half now.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. And what took you there?
I took the leap of faith going from corporate America, and my soft landing was going to Chicago State on a part-time basis because with a lot of the federal grants that Chicago State has, they needed an extra pair of hands, and I needed, something where I wouldn't stress out my husband from leaving my corporate job.
Okay.
So the nice, soft landing after taking that leap was to have a part-time gig at Chicago State.
Oh, okay. What do you do there?
So I am an associate director for special projects, and basically it's a nice way that the director has me doing anything that needs to be done that he can't do. So it's special projects, so anything goes.
Okay.
But basically I'm behind the scenes, and what I do is I help write proposals. I also help make sure that what is existing in current grants is actually implemented.
Okay.
So I make sure that we are fulfilling the obligations from our current grants that we have, which are all federal based.
Okay. Now, when you left corporate America, you say that about leaving corporate America. What were you doing in that capacity with corporate America?
So I was a hair scientist. I worked for L'Oreal for over 10 and a half years. And what I did is I went all over the world to study hair from different countries because all hair is not created equal. And so L'Oreal knew that. And they wanted to study hair from all over the globe to make sure that their formulations were catered to or tailored to the specific needs of women and men all over the world.
Okay. Now, I want to focus on that a little bit because though we're talking about STEM, the study of hair, and there's a science behind that.
Oh, absolutely.
So individuals that are studying hair, they're still in the sciences.
Absolutely.
See, there's so much of what people do every day, whether there's a science even to being a colorist for beauticians. There's a science for a good chef to know what foods and why does that come to a boil and how to take that off before the butter turns brown. There's a science to that.
Yes, correct.
So again, this is why we're going to be working with individuals that, though they don't know that they're in STEM, a lot of what they're doing in their professions falls into that. And so just the study of the hair, for instance, when you were traveling, and what's the difference in the hair when you say, like in different countries or something?
Yes. So when you go to, let's say, Brazil, it's really their grooming habits and practices that dictates the physical properties of their hair and how it responds to different products, in addition to the environment. And also the degree of curl influences it. And I can't say that diet also doesn't affect it, because it does. But even if you leave diet aside, sometimes the environment that they're in, but mostly the grooming habits and practices. We found that hair in Kenya, like when we studied hair of African descent, for example, hair from Kenya seemed to be the most fragile compared to hair from Ghana, compared to hair from Jamaica, hair here in America. I mean, South Africa.
So when people look at the texture of the hair and they think that straight hair is probably more fragile than short, kinky hair, is that a myth?
That's definitely a myth, because hair and I'm glad you said kinky, because from a physical science standpoint, kinky is really when you look at the strand and it actually twists up on itself. It really is a kink. So when you have a telephone cord, for example, and it has a kink in it, and it bends and it twists, hair of African descent has more of a tendency to kink, and that acts as a area where the stress is really concentrated in that area when you pull on it. So it really makes it more inherently weak than straight hair, which is actually more uniform along the length.
Wow. See, you learn something every day. So that had to have been interesting in itself. Now, one of the things I want to point out, I'm always talking about there's a grant for that. There's a grant for that. Well, what you have to also do is realize that even in studying the hair, that's cultural awareness, that's race relations. And so that when let's say you were looking for grants to continue that, then not only would you be looking for grants about hair and what you're doing, but what else is going on with that? And so you had to study what's going on with the culture or know a little bit about it.
Absolutely.
And the race. And so that's why I'm saying there's dollars for cultural awareness and race relations to go along with that. So how long did you do that?
Wow, I've been in the industry now for almost 15 years.
Yeah. Wait.
Yes, I saw the note.
Pitching on women. That is cold.
That's wrong. Just wrong.
Well, so say that again, about 15 years?
Yes, I've been in the industry. In February, it'll be 15 years.
Wow.
I started off my career at Unilever. A lot of people don't know of the company, but they definitely know of their brands. They make Ragu, Lipton, but they also make Dove and Suave. So they make hair care products as well. So that's how I became in the cosmetics game.
Okay. Well, today we've got a little bit of libations.
Yes, we do.
We're instead of Cassie Lee and Hoda, we're Sherita and well, no, I don't want to. Since you're drinking, is that okay? With you being with the university? I was going to say,
I'm on my own time. Yes.
Anyway, we've got a little bit of libations. Here's to all of you guys.
Absolutely.
So now we're going to be again talking about the sciences. And the reason why I'm talking about where you were in your career and then how you can take that into consideration with you studying the hair and how that steals in the STEM projects is because there's so many, like I said, organizations that don't see how this would be a fit. And even with the engineering, there's oftentimes young women, minorities that don't consider engineering careers. So even with the STEM programs, with an engineer or anyone else that's in STEM going and speaking to young people about the opportunities that exist for going into engineering even, there's grants to fund that. And let's say that there's an after-school program or a middle school and now they want to take more of their young people into STEM. There's even dollars. Let's say that the classroom probably is more girls than boys. Then they can even look at grants where there's non-traditional careers for young women. So an example of that, I'm just going to go to Google and I'm going to type in grants comma, girls, comma, non-traditional careers. So under there, you've got the Women's Empowerment Grants. You have grant opportunities, annual 50,000 grant competition, high wage, non-traditional career options, women in work. And so the reason why I wanted to point this out is whether it's the STEM or even other careers, women that may want to go into construction, women that want to be even lawyers. If you're looking for dollars and you've got young women or even older women, adult women that want to go into careers, all you have to do to see those different grants is I always search in Google. I just get better results. And I typed in grants, comma, girls, comma, non-traditional careers. And it brings up the different funders that fund that. Why is that? Because grant funders want to encourage young women to go into whatever career that they would like. And they will fund it. So let's see if there's any others I want to point out. Annotated resources on funding information for non-traditional, women in non-traditional careers. I don't think that's grant funding there. Grant awards for women's education and equity. So there's different ones. Okay. Crystal, do you have any questions for me?
So at the event that you'll be doing for the next 2 days, there will be a number of different people there in attendance. Some will be in technology and others will not be. For example, there's someone who is going to come from the insurance industry. And he is looking at ways, of course, to expanding his business. And is there something as far-fetched as insurance that can actually collaborate with someone in STEM?
What kind of insurance?
All types. So life, home, what's the other type? Automobile.
Well, actually, now he can actually get dollars. First, taking away from STEM, there's opportunities for him to show other young people how to go into insurance. Oftentimes, young people don't even think about going into insurance. That's just not a career that they think of. Now, so there's even, does he also, you said auto,
life, home. I think he does all types of insurance, so I'm sure there's some I'm not thinking of.
So now, is he using computers?
You mean for his job?
Probably.
Yes, absolutely.
And so now, STEM is also part of technology, right? So it can be whether it's technology as far as computer repair, it could be green technology, it could be all of that, right?
Yes.
And so let's say that in his business, he's wanting to go more green in his offices. And so he may even get involved with a program so they can come in and do consulting on how he can go green in his office, whether it's his lighting or whatever. Now that is that is not related to his program, but it still will help his business because it's going to reduce costs and things like that. And then depending on how much he uses computers, then let's say that because he's doing insurance, they may have 20 computers in there and they need computer repair and that kind of thing going on. Then he can have a program that is training individuals to keep his computers, the maintenance and that kind of thing. So that's only just a small portion of STEM, but that's how he could still collaborate. Okay. I'm really wanting some water, and that's just right there. And who are some of our other guests that we're expecting to be there tomorrow?
We have someone who is looking to start a business in hypnosis. So that has to do with, whole life wellness and making sure that you indoctrinate your mind consistently with the thoughts and feelings of going to where you want to go, as opposed to hearing everything about all the negativity that's in the world. So we do have someone that's in hypnosis.
Wow. Well, the thing is that, well, that's definitely health and wellness, but there's also a science to that. Now, as far as hypnosis, do you know what kinds of patients they work with?
Oh, wow. Patients that have substance abuse problems, someone who is suffering from depression, any self-help type of area.
Mhm.
That is what someone who is in hypnosis can help someone with.
So now tell me this, with look, I'm trying to get comfortable here, this table's so close. At Chicago State, what are some of the STEM classes that's offered there?
Okay.
I'm trying to figure that. I wish I would have gotten a list of that beforehand.
Okay, so at Chicago State, we have biology,
Mm-hmm.
we have chemistry,
Mm-hmm.
we have physics,
Mm-hmm.
computer science, mathematics, and then also it used to be pre-engineering, but now it's called engineering studies.
Okay. Okay.
And so you can't get a bachelor's degree in engineering, but there is like feeder schools.
Uh-huh.
We have Illinois Institute of Technology and also UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago.
Okay. So when they're studying the brain, what does that fall under? Gosh, and I'm doing an organization right now. They're dealing with Parkinson's, but they're doing brain technology, but it's what's it called?
It's a subset of biology, but it's like a
neurological. So if someone is going into neurological, would that fall under STEM?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then hypnosis deals with the brain.
Yes.
So they still fall under STEM.
Mm-hmm.
So they would qualify. What I wanted to do is to go here, and I went. Let's see, hypnosis. Did I spell that right? HYPNOSIS. Okay. Let's see. I think he's typing something to me. But it's not coming up. It's not showing. Crystal, where is it supposed to show?
Oh, don't ask me about Max. I'm not as well versed in Max.
You're going to have to write us a note because I'm not seeing, it's not popping up. You guys, this is what happens when you're on location and I don't know what I'm doing.
You can always write it on a piece of paper again.
The same way you did with Women's Kitchen.
Right.
I'm not drinking any more wine. It's getting warm in here. Are you typing me a note? Because I don't want to go out to my screen if I'm supposed to be looking at you, right? Look at his face.
You're okay. Go to another screen. That's all that means to me.
Look. Okay. Therapy, hypnosis, like Susan G. Komen. Hypnosis, they've gotten grants for that. Let's see.
So are you saying that Susan G. Komen gives grants?
Even though it looks like she got funding for it.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me for going off the screen. I got to find something to fan with. Okay. Billy Mock Foundation. Youth-Based Services Project. Okay, that's an organization that received some funding. Hypnosis grants, hypnosis news. See, I should have brought up my PowerPoint.
See, it says anxiety and sex addiction.
Sex addiction.
Sex addiction. Yes.
Let's see.
So it is going to be a wide range of people who are in STEM and outside of STEM who are coming to this because they are looking for ways to, really expand what they're doing and also, of course, get funding.
Yes. Well, and for instance, there's statistics that shows also that that actually boys earlier in life do better in math than girls, but it starts to shift after third grade.
Mm-hmm.
And if we could get to a lot of our young men before that shift happens, because there's also a higher dropout rate of boys than girls in college.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can reach those young men at that earlier age and expose them to what they're liking,
mm-hmm.
but oftentimes they miss the boat on it because so often many of them may be in low-income families, and so they're not able to be exposed to a lot of the things that middle and high income are. So by having programs that collaborate, whether it's even football programs that still, because they need to have a certain grade point average and score so high to even get into professional sports. Mm-hmm. So if they could be a part of a program that keeps them strong in math, the sciences, and other areas. It also will help them as far as career-wise because they're not going to be in football for all their life. So it would just expose them more there too. Rock, are you trying to say something to me? No? You gave up? Okay. So now, Crystal, with your STEM program, and you may or may not know this, do you know approximately how many students are enrolled in those programs? Ooh. Is there any way to know that?
Let's see. I should know this because I have written the reports.
Because I was wondering, just because a lot of young people, when I've mentioned STEM, and just until these recent years, they didn't know what it was.
Oh, yeah.
So it seems like that the enrollment in those areas would probably be lower than a lot of the other subjects.
That is correct. It's
Okay.
Still low.
Okay.
But as far as our program, it really depends on which program you're talking about. Because as I mentioned earlier, a lot of our funding is based on federal grants.
Okay.
Usually the National Science Foundation, in addition to the Department of Education.
Mm-hmm.
So we have probably 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 grants that are active right now.
Mm-hmm.
So we are one of the fortunate institutions because Chicago State is a predominantly Black institution, so we're called a PBI.
Oh, okay.
And because we're a PBI,
what is PBI?
A predominantly Black institution.
Oh. Okay.
So we are one of the few.
But it's not an HBCU.
It is not an HBCU.
Okay.
That is correct.
Okay.
So we actually went from being predominantly white because it used to be called the Chicago Teachers College. That's where Chicago State originated, from the Chicago Teachers College.
Okay.
And so no, it's not a HBCU.
Oh, okay.
But now, especially with it being on the south side of Chicago and primarily a commuter school,
mm-hmm.
we accommodate a lot of the situations that Blacks and minorities in general are, in, and that is, needing to be flexible in terms of when they can take their classes and not have to stay on campus in the dorm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know, for instance, just like in Los Angeles, USC offers programs for STEM, and they were recruiting for the African American schools to send students because they're mostly getting Latino and Asian students. Mm-hmm. So that's why I was wondering about the number, but because your school is predominantly Black, then most of the students are African American there.
That's correct.
Okay. Do you guys promote to the local high schools?
Oh, absolutely. We have a couple of collaborations with some of the local high schools to really educate them and to make them aware of opportunities. And in fact, Chicago State is very unique in the sense that because we have our federal funding, there are international opportunities. And unfortunately, we have a very difficult time filling spaces for international travel and experiences and research for the African American population.
Wow.
Because we aren't used to that.
Yeah.
We aren't used to, taking chances. I mean, a lot of people don't even leave Chicago, let alone leave, the country.
So it's just because of lack of exposure and
Absolutely.
Just probably a fear.
Absolutely.
But the dollars are there for them to do it.
The dollars are there.
Oh,
yes.
my gosh.
Yes.
We got to do something about that.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness.
It needs to be more awareness. And
yes.
I think, and I just had a conversation with a young lady today. She called me because I have a friend who knows that I'm in STEM and knows that my job is basically to give opportunities for people in STEM. So she is a biology graduate. And what she did is she didn't jump right on it and doesn't have a job right now, and so she's looking for opportunities. So I asked her if she was willing to go to a post-baccalaureate program because there are opportunities. So if your grades aren't like 3.5 and up, sometimes you have a hard time if you want to go to graduate school. So there are post-baccalaureate programs that is like a stepping stone so that you can still get those opportunities. It's almost like a second chance. But a lot of those are outside of Chicago. So I asked her if she was receptive to leaving Chicago, and she was very hesitant. And I told her, I said, I understand this is it's your comfort zone, but you really need to know that there are opportunities out there for you, but you have to be willing to go after them.
And that's why too, I'm glad to hear you saying that, and that the opportunities exist, because believe it or not, even in Los Angeles, there are so many young people and even adults that never leave within a 5 to 10 mile radius of where they live.
Yeah.
I am amazed at how many have been there all their life and have never been to the ocean. So I understand that, and there's but we've got to start helping individuals expand and not have that fear, because you can only, if you stay within a bubble, you're only going to grow to the boundaries of that bubble.
Yeah.
And so, but this is why exists, and this is why the grants are there, for us to start helping more individuals get exposure. I'm looking here, the National Institute of Environmental Health, they have grants, and they're saying has fostered partnerships for science education since 1993. The purpose of the science education project has been to improve overall academic performance, as well as enhance students' comprehension of and interest in environmental health sciences. Under environmental health sciences, do you know what that consists of?
Not really.
Let's see. Programs provide teachers with opportunities for professional development also, so they can use the curricular materials effectively in the classroom. Then NIH, the National Institute of Health, they've got grants, NIH Medical and Behavioral Science grant policies, and funding.
So it sounds like you've hit up on some grants that are federal funded.
Yes.
We're talking about National Institute,
yes.
National.
But tomorrow, during the sessions, I won't be showing only government grants.
Great.
Because if you're new at grants, then writing a government grant, is like being 10 years old trying to write a college thesis. But this is just one of the first ones that popped up, and so I wanted to see what they have here. Let's see, the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. Now, again, I'm glad to see this one, because look how many organizations are dealing with air quality and young people and asthma, but they don't realize that they're dealing in STEM. Mm-hmm. Okay? And because it's still in the sciences of it, they need to know and start paying more attention on how they can get exposure and use these grants to advance what they do. Increase the public's understanding of biomedical research. They want to encourage K through 12 students to enter areas in biomedical science in the mission area and of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease. Then examples of appropriate science education projects include K through 12 curriculum that will increase student understanding and interest in science, professional development and or research internship opportunities, science center and public outreach activities. And so, again, there's a lot, and even here, research with HIV and AIDS, immune-mediated diseases. Let's see, let me scroll up. And so how many AIDS organizations don't see themselves as still being a part and could go after these kinds of grants? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Now, one of the things that I also want to show, when I'm constantly talking about grants, there's also, you have to have research to go along with the grants that you write. And so just in my, one of the things that comes up, that my thought is, again, how few African Americans are going into STEM, okay? So let's type in statistics. Now, I've never done this, so let's see what it brings up. Statistics, comma, STEM, African American. And let's see, what do we want to type with that? Let's try access. Underrepresented minority. There's a good one right there. It says, so let's say that were working with a program and they hadn't considered STEM yet. And they didn't know that they could consider it. But now they look at what have their students been doing, what have they been lacking, why aren't they considering it? So it's this kind of thing that we would look up and use the information. So let's see here. Launched in 2013, the AP STEM Access Program is an initiative created to increase the number of traditionally underrepresented minority and female high school students that participate in advanced placement AP courses in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. A $5 million grant made from Google as part of their Global Impact Awards will enable 320 public high schools access across the country to start more than 500 new AP math, science, and computer science courses. So I'm showing this because when you're going after grants, you have to show the need for what you're doing. So if we're wanting to give access, some information like this and others would be the kind of information that we would pull. So tomorrow I'll be showing different ways to not only get involved with STEM programs, but why. You have to answer the question why, because they want to know, why should I give you this money?
Right.
Okay. So let's see. According to the U.S. Department of Commerce, the growth in STEM jobs was 3 times as fast as growth in non-STEM jobs in the last 10 years. STEM jobs are expected to grow by 17% during the 2008 through 2018 period. That's good information to know. So actually, I'm going to save this, and we will use this tomorrow. We'll use some of this tomorrow with my other research. Come on.
So you're saying just from doing Google searches, you can basically find the statistics that you need, because I think one of the, well, if I think about how things used to be done before there was internet, and I'm dating myself because the internet was just being started when I was in college. So it existed, it just wasn't as, it didn't contain the information.
Oh, believe me, I know.
That it does now. So having said that, I think a lot of people really tend to think that it would be difficult to get the statistics to support any proposals that they would write.
Well, you know, now it's easier. But I remember a time, Crystal, when I first started writing grants, I would go to the library, and the most that I could get was 10 books. So I'd get these 10 books. First, I'm scanning them and seeing what I need, and then I leave with those 10 books, and I might have them for maybe a week or less. And then, let's see. Oh, I thought you were typing me something.
Reminder.
Yeah, but that's old. Let's snooze this. Let's just come out. So I would leave with those books, and then I would go and get more books. The internet, now I even wonder, how did I even have a career, you know? And so, and in the class, I'll be showing the different ways to do your research, because research is vital for what we're going to do. I want to keep that link. But yes, whether it's identifying the needs, identifying the grants, identifying collaborative opportunities, everything is accessible by just doing the right kind of search, okay? Let's see. Also, it says here, let's see, as I mentioned, we are not graduating nearly enough STEM majors to meet this need. African American, American Indian, Alaska Native, Hispanic, Latino, and female students in the U.S. are less likely to study math and science in college or pursue related careers than their counterparts. Now, when you look at these positions, who's filling them? They're bringing people from out of the United States. And the reason why grant funders, again, are wanting us to do more to involve our young people in STEM programs is because the U.S. is falling further and further behind. As baby boomers are retiring, they're retiring out of major positions in science and technology and engineering and even architecture. And so as they're retiring, we're not grooming young people to fill those positions. Correct. So if you're bringing people from out of the United States, well, what's the guarantee that that brain power will stay in the United States? So we're really hurting ourselves by not grooming within the house from where we are and grooming the individuals that are here to fill these positions. So grant funders are always focused on filling the gap of where there's going to be a major need. So they're looking at things 10, 15, 20 years down the line and seeing where they need to start funding projects. So just like with baby boomers, as baby boomers were starting to retire, grant funders were funding more programs to start focusing on seniors, because the seniors are now the fastest growing population, but there aren't near enough programs to serve them. And so even bringing seniors back out, you have retired science teachers, engineers. So if you develop programs that's going to bring those seniors back out into the world, and it doesn't have to be a full-time job even, many of them may even just want to volunteer, then there's major funding for that also, because seniors are living 25% longer, but they're one of the fastest growing suicide rate. And so what do you do about that? They're lonely. How often does their family get busy in what they're doing, not trying to forget about them, but we all get caught up in our lives. So there are, again, even if they have a senior program, let's say it's a program and they're taking seniors on field trips and that kind of thing. Do you know that by just doing a survey and finding out from those seniors how many of them are retired from any of the STEM areas, and now involving them in an after-school program that wants to have STEM projects. Now you've got individuals that can volunteer. You're bridging the gap between youth and seniors, which a lot of universities now want to see that young people are doing community service, right? So if they're already involved in a program where they're involved with seniors, then they're putting that on their documents when they go to college, and they're already ahead of the game. So there's so many opportunities by these organizations cross collaborating that also would still fall under the STEM. Okay, so now I want to get back to talking about you and the hair. And the reason for that is one of the goals that one of the things that I love to do in what I do is helping us to do what we love until we're dirt again. You love hair and you love the science of hair.
Right.
How can we take what you're doing now, bridge the two, and have you operating in your passion? Not that I want you to leave the school, but why not do both? Why not do both?
Okay, so I guess that requires you to have a little bit more background, and the listeners to have more of a background as to what I do right now. So I said that I am part-time at Chicago State University because my full-time job and passion is to really help women with their hair needs from a scientific perspective. And this is something that does not exist right now. You have cosmetologists who help more with the aesthetics and making sure that the hair looks really good. A lot of them say that they care about the health of hair, but you can tell sometimes with the products that they use, in addition to the way that they groom the hair with a lot of techniques that aren't necessarily good for the hair, that isn't necessarily the reality of what occurs.
So you're talking about like a lot of the heat, perm?
Yeah, all the above. Mostly the heat and mostly the weave, because you have to be very careful when putting weave or wigs, particularly the lace front wigs. The adhesives that they use aren't necessarily good for the skin, meaning the scalp. And so there really needs to be more of an education. So what I do is I collaborate with cosmetologists or those who allow me to collaborate with them, because I find that there's a level of intimidation, unfortunately. I try not to make it as intimidating because I don't do hair. I'm not trying to do anybody's hair, but I do provide information about their client's hair from a scientific perspective, and they don't have the background to be able to give the hair quality assessment that I'm able to do. I'm able to give real numbers and values no matter what your ethnicity is, because it is based on your ethnic background. Hair of African descent does not behave like Caucasian hair or hair of European descent or hair of Asian descent. So I make sure that I let you know or let a person know what is their hair average, below average, above average in terms of hair quality. I look at their grooming habits and practices, because that really dictates what the hair quality is as well. And then I need to know what they feel they have a problem with and what they ultimately want to achieve. And with that, I give them tailored advice for their specific needs. And so if a cosmetologist wanted to know a little bit more information, we can work and partner hand in hand because I'm giving them the foundation of here is where the hair is right now. And here is where this particular client wants to be. And here are some steps that you can take in order to attain that.
Well, so, now, if a beautician was smart, she would want you to talk to her clients about the importance of taking care of their hair, because that will keep them coming back to them.
Well, not all of them see it that way. I think they feel that they should be all-knowing, and I think that them admitting that they may not know something, they feel that their client would think that they probably don't have the education that they need. And sometimes that's true, but sometimes it's not. I mean, so it really is a collaboration that I want to form, but I help individuals as well. So those who even don't go to a cosmetologist, they can come to me directly. And I tell them to share the information with their cosmetologist because it's extremely important that they know.
Yeah. Well, look at this. North America Hair Research Society grant programs. Research grant awards for scientific investigations on hair disorders. Since 2003, they have awarded on competitive basis. Now, these are just small grants. Let's go and see what their small grants look like. Have you ever looked at grants for what you do?
No, not at all.
Let's see. Our goal of these awards is to provide funds to allow the investigator to generate preliminary results necessary for subsequent funding from organizations such as NIH. Another goal is to support unique, valuable resources used by investigators studying hair biology and disorders.
Okay.
That's you, right?
That is me.
Let's see, research grants funded by NAHRS, whatever that is. Share a vision to fund much needed research in hair biology and hair disorders. Our goal is to establish a secure financial base to continue and increase the level of funding for scientific research awards. Towards this goal, we have identified a grant program that it will fund basic hair biology. What is that? Immunology? Immunology. Morphology. What is morphology?
Morphology, it has to do with like the shape of hair and the structure.
Like the strand?
The structure function, of hair. So, if you look at hair underneath the microscope, those kinks that we were talking about, that kink is a morphology of the hair.
Okay. Development and differentiation of hair follicles. You're on it.
Well, you know what? That actually sounds more like dermatological research, because I don't have the capabilities to be looking at hair follicles. That really takes a MD.
Okay, but so that's more advanced into the science side of it.
Well, into the medical side of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and so you would need special.
So that's one of your collaborations.
Right, and so that is another collaboration that my big brainstorming, business plan had, in terms of collaboration with dermatologists, because even though they have microscopes, they still don't have the ability to look at the or the sensitivity in their instruments to look at the quality of the hair.
Okay.
Outside of the surface.
So that's still falling under forensic science also?
Forensics is no, I would qualify to do that if I had the correct instrumentation.
So now tell me this, just like a lot of young people are considering going into law enforcement that had never thought about it before, because they're watching all of the CSIs and all of that. So they're seeing that they can go into law and even be one of those forensics or all of those different positions. So for someone that looks at, let's say like when they're doing the autopsies, or they're looking to see what that person ate or if someone had drugged them, they're looking at the hair follicles also, right?
You know what? Absolutely. But even outside of forensics, I just learned that cortisol, which is something that is present in the blood when you're stressed. I just heard that they're doing hair research to actually test stress levels that would be more accurate than what they're doing with, the traditional stress tests. Because stress tests are that's like at the time that you do the test, you see if they're stressed. It doesn't give a history.
But the
But because
hair.
exactly the hair.
And that makes sense. Because, so is that true when they say people gray early when they're stressing and all that? Is that true?
Yes, it is true.
Then I don't know why I'm not gray. I really don't, I swear. But so just like how some people say, like our president, how he didn't have gray.
He did have gray.
You know what I was saying? He was probably just dyeing his hair.
He was.
Yeah.
It was very obvious that he was like, because he was gray before he was
Okay. Because I said there's no way he would have turned gray that quick. I mean, that just he would be dead if he was dressing like that. But so there is a relationship between graying and stress.
It is.
Wow.
It is.
Okay.
And you can see it over time with hair, because hair grows at a particular rate. So if you test hair that is right at your scalp, which is like more closer to the time that you're in right now, compared to hair that has, been grown out maybe 6 inches from your scalp, that tells you the health of what you were a year from now. And so you can actually, so that it gives a record, a time lapse record of your stress levels.
Oh my
so it's
gosh.
Really neat.
Okay. That now see that alone, we're going to work on a database for you that those beauticians would want you to come in and do those workshops with their clients, because for one, that shows the clients that they care about them.
I agree.
Yeah, and so just going to have to market it differently, because that's valuable. I would love it that my beautician would be able to give me that kind of information. And so, but it would make me also want to go to her more to make sure that my hair remains healthy.
I would go to someone who had more information about the health of my hair, basically.
Right. Like, see the young lady sitting there with Rock? Look how beautiful her hair is. She's not stressing at all. Look, it's just shining, glowing. I see you back there on your phone. Thick. And thick. Yes, it is. So now here, let's see, strengthening forensic science. Now, why did that go into forensics? Hair and grants, that's what I have there. Let's see what else we've got here. Medications. So again, you can tell what someone's been on.
Now, that's forensics.
That's why too, just like when someone has been a major drug user, not only does it affect their teeth, they tend to have hair loss. Right?
Oh, well, some medications, unfortunately, the side effects, some of them. But it's interesting because now that's why there's a host of different side effects for medications, because all beings aren't created equal. And so we don't all respond the same, which is why they have so many drugs for the same ailment. So I always use high cholesterol as my example. You can be prescribed Lipitor, and then that doesn't work, then they put you on Zocor. Because everyone doesn't respond the same, but it's the same with the hair.
Okay.
And so there are some drugs that are detectable in hair strands.
Okay. Let's see. Here's Rock. It looks like you guys are having too much fun in the studio. That's not fair. I'm not there to hear the noise. You're not supposed to have fun without me there. Let's see. There was another one I was just looking at. Did I pass it?
So while you're looking for that, I can actually tell people, in case there are some hairdressers listening, or just some people who are having some hair issues, my website is, the name of my business, I don't even think I told the name of my business. The name of my business is Mane Insights, but it's MANE Insights. So like a lion has the mane. And so I give insights about hair, but Mane Insights. And so that's www.maneinsights.com. So, but I'm in the process of getting my website changed over. So it really, I looked at it earlier today, and it's not functioning the way that it needs to function because I'm transitioning right now, but you can still reach me.
And how can people reach you? Do you also have Facebook?
I do.
Okay.
So
what's your Facebook?
It is Mane Insights. That is my Facebook page. Also, I have a website called, not a website, a Facebook page called How the Hair Are You? Because I'm in the process.
That's nice.
I'm in the process of getting ready to have a question of the week. and it will be a hair, how the hair are you question of the week, because
Yes.
I want to know how the hair are you.
Yeah.
So be looking out for that too. You can like my How the Hair Are You page and also my Main Insights page.
Okay.
And you can ask me a question on Main Insights, but I'm also on Twitter, Curly Hair Expert.
Okay.
So yeah, you can reach me a number of ways, and if you want to call, because some people just like picking up the telephone, and I'm one of those people, I don't always like emailing. So my number is area code 630-225-7462.
Say it again.
630-225-7462.
7462. And again, her Facebook, I'm right here right now. Just go like her page. It's Main Insights, and that's MANE Insights. And go and like her on Facebook.
Thank you.
So now, who is this with you on your Facebook page?
Me. So is there me? No, that's me with the microscope.
I like that.
Thank you.
That.
And then that's just a photo of someone who has hair and
has great hair.
It's like she's loving her hair.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, what about, Crystal? Like recently, I've been wearing my hair natural, but I went on and pressed it out the other day. And when I wear it natural, I work out. When I'm wearing it like this, I sacrifice my health for my hair.
Yeah.
How, what do we do about that? And I know you're not a beautician, but
that's a huge problem.
And
actually, that's one of the reasons why I wear my hair relaxed, even though I've gone natural. I have gone natural. And I found at the time that I went, which was over 10 years ago, I had more hair breakage when my hair was natural than I did when it was straight. And that's one of the conveniences of wearing your hair straight, because of easier manageability. It's easier to comb through straight hair than it is to comb through curlier hair. And I have one of those really, really tight curls. Really, really tight curls. Yeah. And it's funny because I hear people talk about, oh, yeah, and they call their hair, nappy and kinky. And I'm like, no, I'm looking at your hair. It has nothing on mine or my daughter's. And so to answer your question, what can you do? It really is a matter of making sure that you have the right products and making sure that you make sure that your hairstyle meets the needs of your look.
Yeah.
Because if you wear it naturally curly when you work out, then that's great, because you are going to sweat in order to get an effective workout. And especially if you swim and stuff like that, you really do have to wear it curly if it's natural.
Yeah.
It really. But you're in LA, and they are. I hear that there isn't a lot of humidity there. So
it's not as humid as like here in the summer. No,
right,
it's not.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, you're very fortunate that you don't have to fight that humidity battle. But I tell most women, just forget about it. Just go ahead and wear naturally curly. But it's making sure that you have the products that are conducive to getting your hair to be in the style or have the look that you want. So if you wear naturally curly, is it just in a fro? How do you wear it when it's natural?
Like right now, if I were to wash my hair and I put that stuff on in Miss Jessie's, it crinkles because I had it that way just last week, and so it goes back and forth very easily.
Oh, you're very fortunate.
But I don't, when I'm wearing it like this, I don't work out, and I want to stop sacrificing my health for my hair.
Well, you need to keep it curly.
Yeah.
You need to keep it curly.
Well, I wanted to press my hair out to come and impress you guys. So
you can impress us whatever way you look.
Well, now, again, whether we're talking about hair, whether we're talking about, engineering, whatever, so much of it still falls under the sciences. So your ideal situation, if you had your ideal situation to work in, I guess, with the hair or with what you do, and if we were able to get you funding, let's say $500,000 tomorrow, what would be one of the things that you would do, your first step?
One of my first steps would be to open a laboratory or to order equipment to have a functioning laboratory. Because right now, I'm very fortunate that what I do does not require me to have an external facility. But ideally, in order to properly have the resources that people need to give them the information they want, there is a number of instruments that I would need to order. So that would be the first thing that I would do, is order the instruments so I can be more robust in the information that I provide.
Would you see yourself working more from home, or would you have a facility?
I'm very
If you
fortunate
had the
that,
funding.
right, if I had the funding, I would beg my husband to allow me to use a part of his basement, because we negotiated when we moved into the house that was his basement.
That was, oh, he has a man
So
cave.
yes, he definitely has a man cave. So if I have a portion of his basement, then ideally, that would be what I would do. I would love to stay in the comforts of my home.
Did you know that there's a grant for man caves?
You mean for him to have a man cave, or for me to use his man cave for research?
If he were to, I mean, for a man to have his space,
okay,
or for people to have their space in the homes, actually gives them opportunity to have better communication skills when they get together, because it's kind of like they can go to their separate corners, right?
Absolutely.
And so I was talking to an interior designer, and I was saying to her, this is where the grant thing came in, because we're going to be working on helping families that normally would not have an interior designer have that opportunity. She's going to be creating spaces that helps the family to have their space, and
so
that's exactly. And so that would also help him to have his man cave, or her to have her reading corner, or whatever. Because even if you have a small 2-bedroom apartment, you can have your space, and whether it's you've got that beautiful that chair in front of your beautiful bay window, or at the time, I mean, there's always a place where you can have your space. It's almost like when you share a room with your brother and sister growing up, and you have your side of the room. That gave you your space, and it made you feel better about going into that area. So that's what I meant by that there's anything that you do or anything that you love in life, there's opportunities for. There's a grant for that. Now, the other thing, the reason why I asked, if you had the funding, would you actually have a facility? Because that allows you to take young people into the sciences of what you're doing. And it would be a great after school program. So, but anyway, we're getting close to our time. Rock, it looks like we're getting close to the hour. And so give them your information again about how they can reach you, Crystal Porter.
All right. So once again, I'm a hair scientist, Dr. Crystal Porter, and my company is called Mane Insights. That's MANE. And you reach me by www.maneinsights. That's MANEINSIGHTS.com. Also, like me on Facebook under Mane Insights, and also Curly Hair Expert with Twitter, and also on Facebook, How the Hair Are You? There is a question of the week, and so you can like me there too.
I'm actually going to have you back on because when I was coming here and I did not advertise this show. And there's a lot of beauticians that I've spoken with about grants and that kind of thing. I want to promote this as that, and for them to be on and making sure they tune in to you.
Oh, absolutely.
So we're going to do this again and be better prepared, because I was going to talk more about STEM, but until realizing what your experience with hair. And so again, this is Sherita Herring on Drive Time with Sherita, and I just want to thank all of you for tuning in. We're going to have Dr. Crystal Porter on again to not only for us to talk about STEM, but for us to also talk about hair and the science of hair. I keep looking down at the screen because I see our picture here instead of looking at you out there on the camera. So again, for Sherita J, you can go to SheritaHerring.com. That's SHERITA herring.com. Or you can go to our website, my company site, which is kifoundation.org. Check out Dr. Porter on her Facebook at, again,
Facebook is Mane Insights, and also How the Hair Are You?
How the Hair Are You? Okay, have a great week, and we will see you next Wednesday.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Oh, how you feel? Feeling good. You feel good? Feeling good. There's so much bone, brother. How you feel, man? I feel all right. I'll call your name. I don't want no people to know you're in here. How you feel, fella? Hey, yeah. Sure getting down. We gotta take you high. Yeah. Ow. All right. You wanna do it again? You wanna do it again, huh? Yeah, let's go on back. We gotta take you high.
Touch with Sherita J. If we could get more people to collaborate with our nonprofit.